The universe's greatest story, the birth of life. Hello, everyone. Tonight, we take our journey to the deepest point in history, the moment our planet, Earth, began to speak. This isn't a story about explorers or kings. It's about the instant when chemistry gave birth to biology. So, dim your lights and imagine we're traveling 4.5 billion years back, when Earth was still a fiery hellscape. Chapter 1: Fire and Water, the Boiling Young Earth. 4.5 billion years ago, Earth was a hot, violent place. It had just been formed, a sphere of molten lava constantly bombarded by asteroids and meteorites crashing in from space. The atmosphere was toxic. It didn't have oxygen like today, but rather gases like methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide. Then, about 4.2 billion years ago, a magical event occurred: water. Where did this water come from? The most popular theory is that it was delivered by ice-filled comets that struck Earth for millions of years, releasing billions of gallons of water. As the Earth slowly cooled, this steam condensed and began to fall. This rain lasted for millions of years. Yes, a downpour that would shame your longest monsoon season. This constant rain created the primordial oceans, a vast, deep, dark, and salty soup. Within this soup, the stage was being set for life. Chapter 2: The Recipe for the Primordial Soup. Scientists called this early ocean the primordial soup. This wasn't ordinary water. Intense lightning flashed across the sky filled with toxic gases, and volcanoes were active everywhere. All this energy and chemistry were driving a grand experiment. In 1953, the Miller-Urey experiment proved that if you mix simple gases like methane and ammonia with water and energy like electricity, they spontaneously form amino acids. What are amino acids? They are the building blocks of proteins. It was as if nature started manufacturing its own Lego pieces. But it wasn't just about making amino acids. Deep beneath the oceans, there were hydrothermal vents, hot springs where heat and minerals poured out from the Earth's core. These vents acted as life's factories, where these simple chemical compounds joined together to form complex organic molecules, such as sugars, lipids, fats, and most importantly, nucleotides. Chapter 3: The RNA Revolution, the First Self-Replication. Now comes the greatest mystery of the story. How did these lifeless chemicals become alive? Your body's DNA is the master blueprint, holding all the information. But DNA needs complex proteins to function, and proteins need DNA to be made. This was the classic chicken or the egg problem. Scientists believed the solution came from an older, less stable molecule, RNA. RNA is now considered an assistant to DNA, but on the early Earth, RNA played a dual role. It could store genetic information, much like DNA, and it could catalyze chemical reactions, much like proteins. This was the RNA world. Somehow, after millions of failed attempts, an RNA molecule floating in the primordial soup managed to copy itself. Imagine a molecule that not only duplicated itself, but also gathered components around it to build its own replication. This was the universe's greatest magic trick. A non-living chemical suddenly became alive. Chapter 4: The Miracle of the Membrane, the First Cell. Self-replication was crucial, but there was still a problem. If the RNA continued to float in the ocean soup, it would be destroyed or scattered. It needed protection. At this time, lipids, fat molecules floating in the oceans, played their part. You know that oil and water don't mix. Lipid molecules arrange themselves into a spherical structure to escape water, creating an inside and an outside. This double layer is called a membrane. One day, after billions of attempts, a self-replicating RNA molecule accidentally got trapped inside a lipid membrane. And just like that, the first cell, or protocell, was born. Outside, a protective membrane. Inside, an RNA molecule busy copying itself. This was the first most simple cell, the earliest ancestor of all life. It was the world's first private room where the activities of life could safely continue, protected from the destructive external environment. Chapter 5, 3.8 billion years of solitude. After the first cell formed, life began to dominate Earth. These early single-celled organisms were the only rulers of Earth for 3.8 billion years. They were called prokaryotes. They changed the world for billions of years, and their greatest achievement was creating oxygen. They began photosynthesis using the sun's energy and slowly started pumping oxygen into the atmosphere. This was the Great Oxidation Event, which forever changed Earth's atmosphere and paved the way for more complex life like humans. So, the story of the origin of life teaches us that we are the result of an incredible chemical coincidence spanning billions of years. Our bodies are still made of the very same elements that were boiling in that primordial soup 4 billion years ago. We are all descendants of that first tiny RNA molecule that, in the midst of a lightning strike in the dark ocean, must have said to itself, "I want to live." Did the idea that life began with RNA, not DNA, surprise you the most in this story?